Voy a presentaros yo a Zafira, ¿vale? Lo voy a hacer yo, aunque me hubiera gustado mucho que lo hiciera Tony, porque es compañero y amigo de Zafira desde hace más tiempo. Yo lo voy a hacer, Tony, pero tú mete baza cuando quieras, ¿vale? Pues para nosotros es un honor tener aquí a Zafira. También tened en cuenta que no sé si le ha dado tiempo a tomarse un café, pero para ella son las 6 de la mañana allí y está haciendo un gran esfuerzo, entonces se lo agradecemos un montón. ¿Por qué hemos traído a Zafira hoy? Pues por varias cosas. Una, porque ella cofundó, o fundó, ella, bueno, luego nos lo contará, un programa de mentoring que ha tenido muchísimo éxito en Estados Unidos que se llama IMFAHE, International Mentorship Foundation for the Advancement of Higher Education. Y es un programa que bueno, Tony conocía porque participó y nos habló súper bien del programa y de Zafira. Y yo creo que eso lo hiciste cuando todavía estabas en la academia, ¿verdad? De postdoc.
Sí, empezó en 2015 y todavía sigue en marcha.
Sí, ya lanzado, es un programa, bueno, pues muy, no a pequeña escala como lo hemos empezado nosotros, sino es todo un señor programa. Zafira ahora es asturiana de origen, ahora mismo está viviendo en Boston, donde yo creo que fue allí hace unos años para trabajar de postdoc, ¿verdad? Si no me equivoco.
Sí.
Y está sobre todo interesada en el campo de la inmunoncología. Y hace un tiempito, no sé cuándo, ya se acaba de pasar, se ha pasado a la industria, donde está en una empresa que se llama Rubius Therapeutics y nos estaba contando que está súper contenta, que está aprendiendo muchísimo con el cambio y bueno, yo creo que es un tema que a vosotros también os interesa mucho. Sé que algunos estáis pensando a dar el cambio a la industria, o sea que no os cortéis y preguntadle de todo. Bueno, Zafira tiene un currículum súper bueno, en publicaciones buenísimas, en todas las revistas en las que nos gustaría publicar a todos siempre, como Nature Cell Biology, Nature Biotechnology, Cancer Discovery, y ha recibido varios premios, que luego nos contarás por qué, si fue como por la producción científica puramente dura o sea, propiamente dicha, o por este programa de mentoring, pero ha recibido premios como el Postdoctoral Research Fellow Leadership Award, un award por mentoring, y bueno, y es asturiana de excelencia, ¿verdad? Por el periódico La Nueva España de Asturias. Y nada, te agradecemos un montón que estés aquí, nos gusta muchísimo también pues cómo has entrado, lo cercana que eres y que de repente has creado ya un clima buenísimo, así que nada, deseando escucharte y muchísimas gracias, de verdad.
Muchísimas gracias a ti, María, y muchísimas gracias a Tony por haber pensado en mí. La verdad es que le admiro mucho el trabajo que está haciendo y la capacidad de trabajo y de combinar su familia con su trabajo. Y es un gran ejemplo para mí. Es cada vez que tenemos actividades para hablar sobre rigor y ciencia, siempre lo invitamos a él como ejemplo para las siguientes generaciones. Entonces, gracias a él, gracias a ASEICA, a todos vosotros por hacer posible estas series de Meet Expert. Y hay mucho trabajo de fondo. Esta presentación lleva mucho recorrido, hemos tenido muchos emails entre nosotros, así que tenéis que estar muy orgullosos de que tengáis todo este equipazo detrás para ayudaros en el desarrollo profesional. Entonces, lo que voy a hacer es un híbrido. Voy a hablar en inglés. Yo creo que nos viene bien pues, practicar el inglés, es un soft skills en comunicación. Y luego al final podemos hacer las preguntas en castellano y podemos hacer... También quiero que penséis que me podéis interrumpir en cualquier momento de la presentación. Solía dar clases en la Universidad de Harvard en el programa de doctorado. Y los alumnos no me dejaban casi nunca pasar de la slide 5, y al final ya lo tenía asumido, porque tenía tantas preguntas, eran todas tan interesantes, así que pensar que no hay ninguna pregunta tonta, todas son muy interesantes y todos aprendemos con ellos, ¿vale? Okay, so here we go with my life. So this is me. About me, I born in Asturias in a very rural area. I grew up with no more than 100 people living in that area. My bachelor's degree was in biochemistry by the University of Navarra. I moved over there when I was 17 years old. Then I did my PhD in oncology at the FIMA, also is part of the University of Navarra. And my mentor, with who I is still in contact and I admire a lot, his work is Dr. Ruben Pio Oses. Maybe some of you know him. My PhD was focusing to a new oncogene, tumor suppressor gene in lung cancer. Also, after my PhD, I had an international training in UK and USA. I was at the MRC King's College, and then I moved to United States in 2011 at Harvard University. And my mentors were Dr. Kipta, Gordon Weeks, and Sandy McAllister. Right now, I am a senior scientist at Rubius Therapeutics, and my mentors are Dr. Sivan Elul and Tiffany Chen. I am also the co-founder and president at IMFAHE Foundation. And my favorite phrase is, let's do it. And I'm very pleased to be here, so thanks for inviting me. So what are we going to talk about today? So I'm going to talk about my academic career path at Harvard University, my experiences as social entrepreneur, my career path at biotech in Boston. I will give you some advices based on my experience, and then whatever you may ask me. And I want to start with a poll. I want to interact with all of you. So are we ready to launch this poll, number one? Yes. So the question that I am asking you is, who is the senior author of the review presented below and part of Angier's book, Story Natural Obsessions? So this book is part of this book, and the answers, the potential answers are Jeffrey Pollard, Robert Weinberg, Joan Massaguer, or David Leiden. So here we go. Let's see what you answer. You will have a couple of seconds to answer this poll. Okay, let's give 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enough. Let's see the answers. Okay, so the first option for you was Weinberg, and then Pollard, the 31. So the majority was correct. Congratulations.
Raquel, ¿no podemos ver las respuestas?
Yeah, if you press again, you will see the answers. So the horse is setting, can you share? So the 38% of the people answer Weinberg, 31% answer Pollard, 23% Massaguer, and 8% Leiden. Okay, so now we can close, yeah. So I was asking this question because Bob Weinberg was the person who inspired me when I was reading a review about ENT that he wrote with Nelly. And I was in Spain working, and I sent a cover letter and my resume to Bob's, asking to be part of his team in Boston. I really love the kind of research that he was doing. I was intrigued about the ENT, the epithelial mesenchymal transition, and the role during the metastasis. So I wrote him. Unfortunately, he didn't have a space in his team, but he recommended me to, he directly sent my CV and my cover letter to Sandy McAllister. Sandy McAllister was a postdoc before in his lab. She just established her lab at Harvard Medical School. So this is my welcome celebration party to Sandy McAllister's lab. We were only 3 people in the lab on that time. I was, and this is Sandy McAllister, my mentor. And it was a really learning experience starting in a very small lab. Most probably all of you are working, or mostly all of you are working in a small lab setting. When you have to do from A to Z is when you really learn, when you have to take care of a lot of things. So I arrived to Boston, and I am really grateful for having the opportunity to work with Sandy, because later on I was collaborating with Bob, and indeed we have some publications together. and I was working with postdocs in his lab, and I realized that he was a big figure who is always in all of the meetings. I really love him. He is a great character. But he's really busy. He's traveling, everybody's inviting him to go to meetings. So I had a lot of time and dedication by this junior PI who was established in her lab, compared with maybe the attention that I might have with a big figure in the field. So I arrived, started with Sandy as a postdoc. Something that I want to describe here is what was the spirit in science before I arrived to Boston. And most probably some of you are aware, it's the same situation in STEM. So since I born and the past years before I arrived to Boston, the spirit in science was really competitive and individualistic. I remember having conversations with PIs at Harvard University, who are still my mentors, who were explaining me that they used to code the reagents that they were preparing in the lab and put in the notebook under lock, because a PI will put several people in the same project, and the first person who just launched the project and get the publication is the person who will mention, and the other person will be excluded from the publication. So imagine the environment, the competitive environment in which the people, and the stress in which the people was under on that time. Since that, Eric Lander was one of the, in my opinion, was one of the big figure driving this collaborative and shared environment later on. The reason why is because the Broad Institute, he is the president and founding director of the Broad Institute, and now he is also with Joe Biden in his administration as a scientific advisor. So the Broad Institute launched the Human Genome Project, and this was a huge collaborative effort and a public database where all of the scientists in the world were able to access all of the genome sequence from oncology, from healthy patients. And I think that was setting a before and after in science. In this collaborative and shared environment and databases environment is where I land in Boston. And indeed, the environment where I grew up I was working at Harvard for 8 years. So in that environment, I was exposed to a very collaborative network, and they were promoting a lot of this. And they were promoting in different ways, the open science. So here I wrote secret call-room meetings. They are not secret, everybody knows about them. But every year, big people like Tyler Jacks, David Livingstone, Bob Weinberg, all of the big people who is leading the field in oncology and breast cancer, they will meet in a barn that is similar to this one. Is the Dr. Livingstone barn in West Massachusetts. And all of us, with Cornelia Polyak, with all of the big experts in the field, plus postdocs, we will go and we will start sharing all of the information and all of the science that we were doing. That was unpublished science, but that were the projects that will be published 1 year, 2 years later in Nature, in Science, and Cell. So all of these big projects, the idea was to share knowledge between us. And if you are going in one direction, but the wave is moving in other direction, you will be able to quickly adapt and move towards the direction that the wave is going, if it makes sense. So I think that the beauty of being in Boston was not only being surrounded by very smart people, it was also knowing in advance, like 2 years before the Nature was published, what is direction of the field. Over there, we had a code in which before starting to give our talks, we had 10 minutes talks. We had to stand up and we have to promise that if we are doing the research that other person is talking about, we should stand up, open our notebooks and start sharing all of the information between us. So that was the way to don't be competitive, to be collaborative and to unite our efforts to do science. Also, another activities in which I was involved was the annual picnic day. Here we have a Bob. Bob is like a grandfather. He was feeding us, doing the burgers for all of us, the hot dogs, always caring a lot about all of us. So we have the annual picnic day, again, with the big labs in the breast cancer field, in other cancer fields. We had the annual beach day with people, with postdocs from other labs. Then we had annual main retreat that was only with people from our lab. And then we used to invite grant reviewers from NIH and then we had the annual ski day. So all of these activities were funded by our labs. They invited, it was one day that we were not doing science, but we were doing big networking. Big collaborations were born in these settings because I think that we advance more with a peer, getting to know more in depth another person than being in the lab, just repeating and repeating the same experiments. So this is the environment that I found in Boston. As well, we had one cancer program meeting on Tuesdays that was organized by the Broad Institute. And in this cancer program meeting, all of the experts from the oncology field were going to the Broad Institute and were presenting the last research. It was also unpublished data, so it was very helpful to share ideas, not only in your field, but also in other fields with experts. All of the PIs were over there. And it was a collaborative effort where researchers from Harvard, from MIT, from Dana-Farber Cancer Center, from Brigham Hospital, BU. We have a very rich environment here in Boston. And the biggest institutions in the world are here doing research. So that was something also very open mind, just looking at how other fields are taking approaches to answer questions that you can use as well, especially with the tools from the Broad Institute, that they are very advanced and they have a lot of funding. So this was my academic work at the Brigham Hospital, Harvard University. It was not only party and going to picnics and to ski. Also, I was working very hard during those years. For me, it was an honor to be here, working weekends, working days and nights. It was not an inconvenience. It was really a dream coming through, because I was able to advance the field and also go to talks by Nobel Prizes. It was really a dream for me. So I was studying metastasis and breast cancer during my research at Harvard University, with a special emphasis in the immune system. Breast cancer has approximately 500,000 annual deaths in the world, 39,000 in USA, and during this talk, 12 women are going to die. So you can imagine that is a big number, and we should do something together to move forward this field. So basically what I was doing during those years was to study the impact of the primary tumor into the metastasis outgrowth, inhibiting or inducing outgrowth through the communication with the immune system. So primary tumors will educate the immune system, and then these immune cells will go to the niches and will promote or not the proliferation of the metastatic cells. So this is basically what I did during those years. As I mentioned, during those 8 years at the end, it was 8 years and a half, I was able to set up 6 collaborations with Dana-Farber, with the Harvard, with the Broad, people from the Broad Institute, MIT, Lund University, CENIO, in USA and Europe. So as I am emphasizing, it was very collaborative, very open science. I had 5 publications as first author in high impact journals, and 4 as senior author. I was reviewer of international journals and awards. I developed the first mentorship program at Brigham Hospital for postdocs, and I co-embed and assign a Brigham Hospital invention. And also I co-organize and lecture 3-quarter courses for advanced PhD graduate students at Harvard Medical Schools. That was called the current topics and techniques in cancer biology research. So it was really busy, but really rewarding all of the years that I was at Harvard University. And these are the skills that I was acquiring during those years. So I improved my teaching abilities during my PhD. I was teaching a lot at University of Navarra, but here I was teaching even more in English. So for sure, I was improving my teaching skills, my communication skills, my scientific skills. I was learning new skills and new experiments. Collaborative work, working in teams, and also leadership through the mentorship program that I was developing at Harvard. The values that I gained during those years was to be involved in open science. Open science, if we want to move forward in the field, we need to be very open with our science. It's better to don't have to get everything by yourself, to collaborate with other experts, and together we can move faster. Collaborations and also diversity. In Harvard University, I had the opportunity to be with scientists from China, USA, Israel, Germany. Everybody thinks so differently. And that helped me really to grow professionally and personally. So the advices that and specifics that I have here for you based on what I learned over there is look for an environment that promotes collaborations and open science. Learn other skills not related to your career path, because you never know, maybe you continue in academia, but then all of these skills, all of these soft skills, you can translate to other career paths. Move out from your comfort zone and learn as much as you can. Attend to meetings and other events out of the lab is where real relationships and connections are born. Try to create multidisciplinary meetings between different experts in your institution to promote collaborations and open science. So they don't exist, try to do it. Like for example, these meetings that we are having. So now the topic is career development, but you can create other meetings online. Diversity is really important. Be very proactive. You are your own limitation. And look for mentors. And this is what is going to lead me to the second part of my journey, that is the mentoring program. Do you have any questions related to this first part? I can stop here. Any questions? No? Okay.
Mira, yo Zafira, were you a mom when you were doing your postdoc in Harvard? Or
no.
Okay.
Well, during the postdoc, so I was postdoc for the first 5 years, and then I was promoted to junior faculty over there,
Okay.
instructor. So during those years, I became a mom. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then it was, I guess, more difficult to do as many things as you were doing, or?
Well, I didn't sleep too much, and my daughter neither. So she used to wake up at 3:30, and at 3:30 I will wake up and I will start working. It was more difficult to combine everything, but it was possible. Yes, and I have an advice for that at the end. And if you want, we can discuss that part, because I think that this is very important when you are a woman and you have family.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so let's go for the poll number 2. What is mentorship for you guys? A is coaching and training. B is the influence and guidance by a mentor to help the mentee with personal and professional growth. C is a passive endeavor. D is a therapy. Okay, so now you can vote. You have a couple of seconds. Let's count down. Okay, here it is. A, coaching and training. B, influence. C, passive endeavor. D, a therapy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, closing. Let's see. Okay, so 88% is answering that is the influence and guidance by a mentor to help the mentee with personal and professional growth. And 12% is a coaching and a training. Mentoring, Coaching is more related to one goal, one defined goal, try to get that goal, and usually there is money involved. You pay for a coach to help you to achieve that one. Mentoring is no conflicts, no money involved. It's more a guidance of a mentor to help you with that personal and professional growth. So the correct answer is B. The importance of mentors. I was talking briefly about the importance of mentors for me in my career. And here, I just want to highlight that mentorship was really key to my success. So mentorship is nothing new. It's like 3,000 years ago, Odysseus entrusts his young son Telemachus to a mentor. So you can see even in the Greeks, in the Greek epic poems about the mentorship. And he was going to the Trojan War, so he was leaving his son under the custodian of a mentor who was helping him. So imagine, it's something super, super, super old. And in my opinion, the first mentors that I am representing here were my parents. So maybe they have a little bit of conflict of interest over there. A mentor should not have any conflict of interest, but they were the first people in my life who were guiding me, giving advices as much as they could to help me, to guide me in my career. And they only wish the best for me. So that's why I'm saying that thanks to my parents, I am who I am, the culture, the influence that I got from them, the economical support, everything. Here is my husband and my daughter. They are mentors, they are every day for me, they are making possible everything. My daughter still doesn't give me too many suggestions and guidance, but my husband does. So they are also great mentors. And then in terms of my professional development, I want to emphasize Pilar Sesma was the first person who was a mentor in the university. And she was giving me amazing advices. Why? Because my parents didn't have a degree in the university, so they were totally lost on that aspect. Pilar Sesma, Dr. Sesma, was the first person who was telling me, okay, you have to do this, that, you have to outstand from the crowd, be a better person professionally. Then I had Ruben Pio, my mentor during the PhD, Dr. Fulbrici. He was a person who works in arthritis. He's a doctor at Brigham Hospital. He was helping us to develop the mentoring program because he really believed that it's really necessary. And he was a key mentor in my professional development with no conflict at all with the work that I was doing. And then I had Sandy McAllister, Joy Kems, and the chief of the division from dermatology, Nancy Berliner. So all of them were key for my success. Because I consider that was so important, and sometimes postdocs arrive to Harvard and still they are in competitive environment, we developed a program at Harvard University that was for postdocs, from postdocs to postdocs. And we call it the Peer Mentor Circle Programs, mentoring program. So this was a circle of 5 mentees and 2 mentors who meet regularly every month. We will set up goals together. We will help with the experience from each other. It was a mentorship, not vertical, also horizontal. We developed this first program at Harvard University, and we published the guidelines how we were developing in Nature Biotechnology. Got a lot of recognitions, and then we influenced other institutions later on to develop this mentorship program. So for sure, mentorship was really important for my success, and also for a lot of emigrated scientists around the world. They believe that you can advance faster if you have a mentor who is guiding you and who is helping you in this process. So like me, there were a lot of emigrated Spanish people around the world who wanted to help the next generations and be connected with their country. And this is how it started IMFAHE in 2015. IMFAHE is a nonprofit here in United States, in Boston, set up in the headquarters in Boston, where we are connecting emigrated talent from Spain with students, PhD students, master students from universities and other institutions, and we are working virtually. So they work for 1 year, and they are working. It's incredible where the Spaniards are arriving. So they are at Stanford and Princeton, Harvard, MIT, Google, in China, in CEPSA. So we are in different fields of expertise. A lot of mentors in different continents of the world are coming back intellectually to help the next generations through mentorship programs. So this is how IMFAHE born with a mentorship program in Spain, but then started to grow up. Right now we have 1,000 members in our virtual platform from biomedicine, engineering, economics, and behavioral science. So we have students, we have professors and researchers, and we have top professionals at prestigious international organizations in 5 different continents of the world. And now IMFAHE is not only bringing together people from Spain, also we include universities, students, and immigrated talent from Portugal. And we are working in the expansion to other countries like Italy and Germany, because we believe that diversity is very important for your professional development. We talked about that before. So this is how we are bringing students, and this is a collaboration this year between we have agreements with the University of Valladolid, La Laguna, Europea Miguel de Cervantes, Oviedo, Politécnica de Valencia, Sevilla, and Málaga, and in Spain. And then from Portugal, we have Universidade do Minho and Universidade de Aveiro. So students who never will meet, PhD scientists who will never meet before, they have the opportunity to connect online, and they have the same goals. And we are connecting them with also business. There are companies who are looking for to recruit people, and also with local government. And what we are trying to promote is knowledge flow, collaborations, open science, innovation, and career profiles of excellence. And we started, I mentioned, we started with a mentorship program, but then this evolved into many more initiatives that we run every year. So we have the online communication platform where everybody's connected, more than 1,000 members. You can go to the map in the wall and you can find people who is working in cancer in your field. Over there you can set up collaborations with different people. It's different, it's a hybrid between LinkedIn and Facebook, but it's different because in LinkedIn, usually you try to create your brand, to explain to the people your success. Here, the people is looking for collaborations, is looking to help other people. So our goals is totally different. That's why it's more meaningful. And over there, we have a lot of talent, but you know, talent is like cooking, right? You put a very good piece of meat and water, and it will not be nothing unless you light the pot and you start cooking and putting some time. So what we did is an idea competition. The idea competition is, we have seed grants. We give every year $10,000. What we are trying to do is scientists to think also with an entrepreneurship mind. So you have an idea, why don't you turn it in a startup? Why don't you become an entrepreneur? And what we are doing is first connect and create groups, multidisciplinary groups from behavioral science, from economics, from engineering, from biomedicine, between students, between mentors, between professors, and they come with an idea and compete for the seed grants every year. There is a Shark Tank over there. It's like the Shark Tank initiative. There are sharks who are going to evaluate your proposal, and then they are going to give you money. And then after that, you go to an idea accelerator. So you have a 6 weeks program in which you are maturing your project. And this is a program that is developed by MBAs from Harvard University and MIT. So you can imagine the level of this idea accelerator that we are creating. And it's an opportunity, everything is free for the students. Also, the best projects that we are seeing with higher potential, we propose to the MIT Idea Square. The MIT Idea Square is a global competition where you cannot apply. You need a nomination from an institution. So we nominate the best projects to the Idea Square in Boston. And the winner, the team who is the winner, comes to Boston and stay in Boston and is trained by the professors from MIT in entrepreneurship. So it's an amazing opportunity and everything for free. It's an amazing opportunity for the people who want to pursue this entrepreneurship path. Also, we provide online courses on innovation, scientific careers, and career development. They are open to everybody. You can go to our website and look at based on your interests. We are trying to bring American people, experts in different parts of the fields. For the universities who are in agreement with us, we provide diplomas. For the rest of the people, we don't provide diplomas, and the students can apply for credits as well. Also, we are training professors and PIs. We should not forget them. They are always developing and they need to keep growing. So we have a section designed for professors. We have the personalized mentorship. We have fellowships. This year we have 20 fellowships for outstanding students, and these students are coming to Harvard University and MIT to be trained. So more than 50% of our students in the platform are coming here to Boston to be trained, or to top institutions in the world. Some of our fellowships are in collaboration with the Fulbright Spain fellowships as well. We give a bigger package for the students who win IMFAHE Fulbright. And also we have IMFAHE recruiting, companies that are interested in your profile. We have IMFAHE Science 2.0. When these mentors come back to Spain, we connect them with institutions so they can go to give talks in those institutions. The idea is to create the call ring in Spain. Before the papers are published in 2 years in Nature Science Cell, come with everything and publish and share with all of you so you can see in which direction is moving the field. And also we have an annual innovation camp. And this year, something interesting that maybe you would like to see, everything is recorded and you can go to imfahe.org, and over there you can access to all of our courses and mini symposiums. So something that perhaps is interesting for you is a global mini symposium that we organized the past month. In this mini symposium, we try to promote open science in this global mini symposium. And the goals were, first, bring knowledge, learn about the initiatives that promote open science, open data, and open communication. And the reason why is because now there are a lot of grants from the European Commission and also in Spain at national levels. And in those grants, there are specific parts where they are asking how you're going to promote open science or how you're going to promote open data. And sometimes the scientists don't know how to fill that section, and they lose a lot of points just because that section is very weak. So with this mini symposium, we are very, very technical, very practical in our courses. In that mini symposium, what we try to bring is the tools. Starting to write your grant, whereas you are attending to our mini symposium, knowing the type of platforms that you can write and you can apply to promote open science. So tools and also debate. This was, we had 220 unique attendees in that Saturday from 17 countries and 5 continents, and the rate was 4.7 out of 5. So, and just like some examples of people who was presenting, we had David Mayor, who is the director of policy initiatives from United States, and he was talking about openness, integrity, and reproducibility in research. He was providing a lot of tools for your grants applications. Eva Mendet, who is the chair of the European Union Open Science Policy Platform, she was talking about what is coming, be prepared about the grants and the European Open Science Policy. João Moreira from Portugal, he was giving an overview of how they are handling everything in Portugal to promote open science. Michael Eisen, he was the best. I think, well, I cannot be biased, but everybody liked the approach of Michael Eisen. Michael Eisen is the co-founder of PLOS Journal and the editor-in-chief of the journal eLife. That was probably all of you know. So he was connected from Berkeley, and he was talking about why it's necessary open access journals and not paying and being the cycle of the peer review paid journals. It was very interesting. And then we had Luis Quevedo, that maybe you know it from the television. He's a scientific journalist, and he was talking about science communication to the broad public. So speakers were connected from three different continents. It's very interesting. Maybe it's interesting for you, just to let you know. And just wanted to finish this part just saying that you can follow us in LinkedIn, in Twitter, in Facebook, or Instagram. Over there, you can see what is going on. Right now, we are almost finishing all of the academic year, but in September, we will start with more and better. So if you want to learn more, here you have information. Skills that I learned in this adventure, and I am running out of time, sorry. Business development, we are a team of 16 people working in IMFAHE, so I was able to manage people from different fields. Communication, collaborative work, and leadership skills I was earning during this experience. Values, open science, global collaborations, and diversity. And then the advices that I have for you is look for an environment that promotes collaborations and open science, again, and if you don't have it, push it and create yourself. Build your national and international networks, surround yourself with mentors and become one, not only receive, also give back. Collaborate with people from other fields and expertise, you will be surprised. Innovation comes with collaborations, so be innovative. Be proactive and positive. Don't be afraid of the outside world. Take advantage of the virtual conferences and e-learning. Right now, we have a lot of e-learning, so try to learn every week. And here is the next advice. Learn something new every week. Your professional growth only depends on you. So I usually block 2 hours every week just to learn something new for me. I know that we'll sleep a little bit less, but I will learn something new that week. And break the inbreeding by increasing the diversity around you. And the last poll, poll number 3. Here we go. What is the difference between biotech and big pharma? You have any clue? A, biotech companies' drugs tend to have a biological basis, and pharmaceutical companies' drugs tend to have a chemical basis. B, in pharma, there is a tendency for certain technologies to become the focus of intense development efforts, for example, the PD-1s or the CAR-Ts or TNFs. Whereas in biotech, the focus is often on the science and how it can be used to solve complex healthcare issues. And C, the commercialization process in biotech is often funded by venture capital firms or drug companies. D, all the above. What do you think? Let's give 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see how much you know. Okay, so majority, very good. All the above, 79% answer this. Yes, it's all above. I think that is a little bit obsolete, this description of A, because it says that was more a definition, an economical definition of, or financial definition of what is a biotech and pharmaceutical company for investors. To learn a little bit that biotechs is like have a biological basis and pharmaceutical companies have a drugs. Right now, for example, Takeda, Novartis, they are with CAR-Ts, with NKTs, so CAR-NKs. So it's not so true, but by definition, yeah, at least for financial basis, it was defined like that up to 2015. Okay, so my last part of my trip is in Rubius Therapeutics. Rubius Therapeutics is built upon the discoveries of the Professor Lodis Plug at MIT. So this is another example. You can have a discovery and then you can turn it into a company that is raising right now, I think that we are around $600 million. So think big, think that your discoveries can lead to companies and save a lot of lives. This is a public biotech. In NATSCA, you can find like Ruby with 200 employees. It's funded by a flagship. It's located in Boston. And what we are doing is selling monotherapies based on red blood cells. I'm going to talk a little bit now. We are focused on cancer and immune disease. Basically, what we do in Rubius Therapeutics is allogeneic cell therapies off the shelf. So we will take progenitor cells, we will engineering those progenitor cells that then they are going to differentiate in red blood cells. During this process, these red blood cells are going to have in the surface molecules and proteins that will activate the immune system. So this is an example. Our red blood cell therapy has different molecules on the surface, and now they are interacting with NK cells, they are interacting with T cells in the peripheral blood or in the spleen, and they are inducing the proliferation and expansion of these specific T cells and NK cells. And now these cells traffic to the tumor and they start killing the tumor. So it's interesting how red blood cells that only carry oxygen in the past, now we are turning into a cell therapy by educating the immune system. This is our pipeline. We have several drugs in the pipeline. RTX240, we are treating now acute myeloid leukemia, solid tumors. This one also is in the clinic right now. And now we are working in the 224 through the IND. I am working also in this new therapy for cancer. So what I do, because usually this is a question that you ask, what do you do in industry? Exactly similar to the academia, what kind of assays are you doing? So what I do is studies in vitro. I develop assays to test the activity, the potency, and the toxicity of the therapy in vitro. Then also I develop studies to determine in vivo the absorption, the biodistribution, the PK, that is the drug interactions, for how long is the therapy in the circulation, the PD, that is how it's impacting the body, this therapy, how it's activating the immune cells, and also tox studies and efficacy. So it's very similar to what you do in academia, the type of assays. Also, something that is really different are the reports. I am involved in writing a lot of IND reports. So before you propose a therapy to be tested in the clinic, you have to write reports that are similar to papers, and we send to the FDI. That is like the European, la Agencia Europea del Medicamento, but in United States, we do that. The skills that I learned here is be concise. In industry, you don't want long emails. Nobody has time. Everybody has very tight deadlines. So be concise. New scientific skills, managing people, collaborative work with other experts, leadership, and then values. Urgency, one is one of the big values. Everything moves very fast. Courage to come with new ideas to solve problems. Diversity and reproducibility. This is super important in industry, that you can reproduce what other people is doing. And then the advices and specific is discoveries in academia can be transferred into companies. So think about that with an open mind, be concise and to the point, be sure that your results are reproducible. This is really important. Being organized improves efficiency. Industry is a great career path. Look for feedback from other experts and always do your best. It's not necessary that you are perfect, but always should to do your best. And just the last two advices. Here I am with my family. I want to emphasize that your professional development should not be incompatible with a family. I think that organization and the family support is the key. Having the support from my husband, who is equal to me, he's taking care of our daughter, and he's giving me time when I need to work or when I need to travel, is key. So be surrounded by people who really care about you and care about your professional development. And then follow your passion by choosing the career path that fits better with your personality. You don't need to follow academia because this is the only that you saw or that is only available in your town. I think that you can get the best of yourself if you choose really what you want, independently where you have to go in the world. Here are some examples of career paths that you can follow based on your training with a PhD. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry, I ran a little bit of time.
Don't worry. Thank you very much, Zafira. It was great. I mean, so many open questions about your career in academia, now in Rubius Therapeutics, your mentoring thing. If you want to ask anything to Zafira, please or raise your hand or just open the microphone and go on.